here's a video on going through the process of installing a mulching head on an excavator. I had it set up on this 6-ton and I put it on this 9, and I'll explain the model and everything went involved. This is one of those mulching heads that you had to tune for the different flow rates and machine size and that sort of thing. So first thing is, this is an FAE DML HY, size is a 125 VT, and I think that's variable transmission. So I first had to get a case drain set up. So the drain is labeled here, so you just got to get a fitting. Well, I guess it already had it set up to here, which I had a quick coupler, which I changed it so that I can wrench it. Then I ran the case drain all the way up and fed it through. So with a case drain, you want the least amount of back pressure. So 0 would be great, but it cannot be over 43 psi. So we kind of got it emptying right in the tank through the fill cap. So I've taken the fill cap off, threaded whatever this knuckle in, and put the line straight in the tank. So when I took this gauge here with this fitting, and you have to tee it in the line, run the machine to check your back pressure, and you got to make sure that it's lower than 43. So that's the case drain. So once you get that done, then you can move on. I also had to get a set of ears made, fabricated, so that it could be bolted on for my 9-ton, because the ears had been set up for the 6. Now with this machine, once I got the line in, the case drain in, that was kind of like the only line I had to do, because everything on this Takeuchi, which is a TB290 9-ton, it comes with the lines all ready to rock and roll. Line for the thumb. It's even got a hydraulic quick coupler. And so with this model, the DML HY 125 VT mulching head, you got to take this plate off, and then there's a screw. It's called a flow rate screw. You have to back that completely off. Once you back that off, then you have to come over, and there is a screw here on the motor that you're going to adjust it to a certain RPM. So then you take this plate off here, which exposes the belt, and you have some drums. In order to check and tune this as if they were going to do this at the factory, you got to get yourself a laser reader. So you put a reflective sticker on the drum right here, inside here, and with the case drain on, and especially directly to the tank, you know that there's going to be no back pressure. So you so after the case drain, then I had to do this one on the return line. So I had to tee this in on this return line here to make sure that the pressure on the return is greater than 150 and lower than 300. Anywhere's in between. And I'll explain why that pressure is important for this head. So the setting is, once you back off the flow rate valve under here, you're wanting to take your laser reader and have it so that it's 3200 RPM. 3100, 3200. And there's a set screw here that you adjust to get it to go to whatever RPM that you're looking for. So when we first fired up the machine, it was doing like close to 5000 RPM, and that's not what you want. So with a high RPM and no back pressure, I think it's there won't be any torque. So once you start to adjust this screw in here to bring down the reading to a 3200 RPM or 31, then you come over, so you're going to lock that screw down. Once you get that 3200 RPM, the machine is running, the mulcher head's running, you come back over here and you adjust it to set it at 3000 RPM with this flow one. So it's a small adjustment, and once you have it read with the laser, then you will be able to lock that screw down, and you will have the factory setting that FAE will send you on your model of machine, your flow rate, your PSI amount, and they will give you a number, what you have to be at. And it's, for this machine, is I have to have a RPM of 3000 to be at its most effective power. And so the case drain has to be below 43 PSI. So if you go straight into the tank, it'd be no issue. So the return, it was a little tricky to get the return line on the gauge. So this gauge was kind of shitty when I bought it, because I had to go on the PSI, and the PSI is in black, and you can see the big number, you know, like your first number is 1000. So we had to really watch it, the needle just barely move, so that we can get in within the 150 to 300 return PSI. So what I was doing is I was choking it off a little bit off of this valve that you would open and close for the main return hydraulic line. So my other machine was all set at factory, and the lines were just open, but this one, I don't know, for some reason I have to choke it to get a little bit of pressure in the return line. So that is one thing. And once you get the drum at 3000 RPM and you have some back pressure between 150 and 300, you're set up. An enormous amount of work. It took me a long time, you know, including the day that you have to drag the machine to the fabrication shop and all the equipment and everything. You strap down, you know, you got to take this, you got to take, you know, a kickstand so you can put it down, and it's just a lot of work just to drag everything around for one day. As it comes back, then you got to go get all the fittings. And like, look at the fittings that we had to Frankenstein together to get it reduced from this down to that. So that's a lot of pieces. And then we had to do it over here, and then you gotta get the, you know, to link. And you want to do 3 lines. So if you rip this one, or if you have a problem, you can take it and change it here, and same with up to there. So this is another short one. And then, oh, sorry, you probably can't see. So this is another short one up there. And then we have it connected again here, so we can change it out and keep this one fed through the machine. It's zip tied for now, because this is what I really need, is those brackets up there to hold the line. And of course that one that came from the factory, it's a steel line, and it's the ultimate setup. And then they have this, you know, to secure it, and I don't have that because I'd have to get it made, or maybe I can order one. But for right now, it's zip tied, and I don't have time to dick around because I need it right away. This machine puts out almost 4,000 PSI. This one's like 3,400 PSI, and the mulching head is max 5,000 PSI. So this will take a machine up to maybe 13 ton maybe. They might put out 5,000 PSI or close to it. So it'll work up to maybe a 13 ton. Tremendous amount of work. Oh, and then I also have to run the electrical. So here's the electrical plug. And then with this mulching head, there's doors that you can open and close. So here's the controller that'll go in the cab. So I got to run the line along the boom and feed it up into the cab. Have to mount the controller, but then I also have to steal 12 volt power somehow from within the machine. I'm kind of thinking going right straight from the battery with a fusible link and up and through the cab, plug in, so I can have some 12-volt power, and then I'll be able to control the doors. Doors on this mulching head are, it's pretty handy because this will control all the debris and it'll shoot it down, and then it just, because you know it can be extremely messy with the doors open, or the mulcher heads that don't have doors, it just blows it everywhere. So would I do it again? I would do it again. It'd be quicker because I know what I'm dealing with, but it was it was challenging to deal with the RPM, try to get it to read the sticker and have the sticker stay on, get all the fittings to fit, all the different types of fittings, and it was a lot. And the ears are not awesome. It's hard to get in the ears. They're a little long here, so since they're long here, it's hard for this ball to once I get under here, it's hard for the ball right here to get over this. It just needs a little modification, so I got to take it back to them and maybe get them to just adjust some of the pieces, just make things fit just a little better. And then this week I also had a new hydraulic wedge installed. The other one was kind of, I don't know, was fabricated crooked or something. And so now I'm like 90% ready, because the only thing is getting the controller set in the cab. I don't know where to put it, but then the other thing is you have to have your machine kind of set with your flow rate, and you can do that by screen, which is probably the easiest thing of it all. You can change your flow rate from your computer screen, and it'll either give you more control of all your functions while the head is on, or you can max it out, full power to the head, but you can't really do a lot of booming. You wouldn't be able to really lift it. There's just not enough power, so you got to turn the head off to lift it up. With a Takeuchi, blessed for access. Like, talk about, like, wow, what a machine to be able to work on. Just awesome. Like, I'll be able to feed that right up through the cab, no problem. You can go, you know, there's a mat and you can open up the floor and stuff like that, like this one here, Takeuchi. So you can open up the floor. And I still have another cable I got to cut out there. Here's another small little thing I have to do. Here is a cable. This black cable is part of the controller, so I got to cut this off and tape up this end and splice wire into it to run off the battery on the 9-ton and run that 12-volt power into the cab to get power to the controller. And that's my last thing I have to do. And do I need the doors? Well, no, I imagine I can work without the doors, but it's some nice to have them when you're trying to do a clean job. So, I mean, you can, yeah, I could open the doors up just right here, just plug everything, get power off, and open them up and leave them open. Anyways, I'm gonna just, I've come this far, spent this much time and money, I'm gonna just finish it. Pile of work. Holy, it was a pile of work. Pile of work. Pile of work. And when the dealer is going to do it for you, if you're buying a mulcher head, get them to do it. It's going to cost a lot, and that's why went and did this all on my own. It was going to be astronomical to have ears made by the factory and have somebody come and do everything I did this week. Crazy. So I was just like, I gotta try and do it myself. Can be done, and once you do it, the next time it'll be even easier. So if I ever get a bigger machine, I could do it. Anyways, if you're wanting to get into mulching, there's a bit of a breakdown on the install